Hi, let's look at how you can use the search term report to optimize your campaigns in a way only a few people do. A search term report is the go-to place for most advertisers as it shows what actual queries were matched against your keywords. If you work with broad or phrase match or even exact match, you know that your keyword can trigger various search terms. Now, some searches are good, but some need to be excluded. Now, before we dive into how to work with search term report, let's go over some of the basics. Now, first of all, don't add keywords from search term reports just for the sake of it. It will make your account unnecessarily big and hard to manage. Don't add low volume search terms as keywords as well. If you have phrase or broad match keywords, they can handle those search terms on their own. Focus on the ones with high volume. Of course, there are many reasons why you would want to add a search term as your keyword, but usually it's one of these. You want to write a better ad for that specific query. It means adding that to a new ad group. You want to control CPC better, increase bids, impressions, etc. You want to see better reporting, or you want to assign a different budget for that query, which means adding it to a different or new campaign. But when you already have campaigns and ad groups, it might be confusing where to add that keyword. Now, you would not always add a search term report to the same ad group. Without the proper process, you can end up having a chaotic structure. Now, this is what I use to decide if the keyword goes in the same ad group or in a new one. It may look complicated, but when you go through it, it's actually quite easy. First of all, I ask myself, does the search query match the keywords in that ad group? If yes, then I move on to see if the ad matches the search query, and then if the landing page matches the search query. If all answers are yes, then this new search term belongs in the same ad group. Now, if either of answers is no, then you need to create a new ad group because you want to write a better ad or direct to a different landing page. Now let's go and find search term report and learn how to use it. If you want to find search term reports, you have to go to your campaign, then go to keywords and select one or several keywords. In my instance, I will select just all keywords because they're, well, closely related. And you'll see that the menu here appeared. All you have to do is click search terms. Now you see how exactly people entered search terms and what triggered your ad. Depending on campaigns and keywords, there might be a lot of them, there might be just a few. If you don't see enough volume here, try to change the date. I have here a year just to get more data, but you might change to a month, 3 months, say 6 months, whatever. It depends on how much you spend on a campaign and your niche, your country, your keywords, and etc. So always know that you can change the date here. As you can see, some of the keywords are already added, so I can ignore them. I can only focus on the keywords that are not there and they triggered my ad, which means that I've spent some amount of money. Now let's use a filter to help us go through all the keywords because as you can see, there's a lot of them. Well, 100, but it may be even more. We'll try to find non-converting spenders, which means that keywords or search terms that drove traffic, I paid for them, but they did not convert. So we'll focus on conversions, which is below 0.01. This is because of data attribution. And we'll have cost filter that is above, let's say 100. Now we see 5 keywords that spent more than 100 during the period. So we had 200, 170, and they haven't had any conversions. So I can just remove them altogether. I see that one of them was added. I can double check why it's not converting and maybe come up with some ideas how to do it. Looking at the keywords, I see that this, for example, search is about business plan PDF. I might exclude it altogether. If you want to exclude the keyword, you just click on it, select it, and add as negative. Usually you add it as an exact match negative, but you can remove a match right here, but be careful adding broad match keywords. I recommend adding exact negative or at least phrase match keyword. And you can select on what level to add it. You can either add it to ad group campaign level or to a negative keyword list. Now, I would recommend at the beginning adding at ad group level. This will help you better structure campaigns and will not limit the traffic if you accidentally add a good keyword to on a campaign level, and it will limit impressions for other ad groups as well. Now, all you have to do now, instead of 100 keywords, you look at only 5 and decide if you want to exclude them from this ad group or you want to add them to an ad group and maybe decrease the bids or maybe create a new ad group. For example, if you do have some kind of PDFs, you may have a different ad group with different ad and different landing. Now we'll find the sneaky budget wasters. Those are the keywords that have low click volume, they have a little bit of spend, a low CTR, usually three times lower than the average CTR, they might be unnoticed by you. So they keep spending little by little for a long time until you notice them. So let's find those keywords and see if we can exclude them. First, let's use the filter to filter out the CTR, the keywords with low CTR. I see that the average here is about 5.6%. So let's start with 2%. We'll find all the keywords, all the search terms that have lower than 2% CTR. Now we need to have clicks, so we need to use the filter to costs. We have clicks, and that is above 0. So we'll know that there's definitely at least one click. We also don't need keywords that have conversions. We only need keywords that have no conversions. So conversions would be below 0, 1. And now we need to see if there is a cost lower than, let's say, 20 euros. Okay, so now we see keywords with pretty low CTR. They had few clicks and they spent just a little bit. We need to exclude them or at least evaluate if they are good for our business or not. So we only had down to 5 keywords. Now you can change the filters to reflect your business better. Maybe the CTR should be lower or higher, and the cost is, again, maybe lower than 20 or maybe higher. But make sure not to exclude keywords that convert, search terms that convert. But at this point, I see that these search terms have really low CTR, no conversion, they spend a little bit. Now, these keywords don't sound like they resonate too much with my ads, which means that most likely people will not convert as well. So I can select them all and add them as a negative keywords. Now let's find keywords that cost you a lot, which means keyword with high CPA. We need cost per conversion. I usually go with double the amount of my usual cost per conversion. So if the average is about 120, I would have 250, and I'll add another filter, which is conversions, that has to be above 0. So I have, instead of hundreds of keywords, I have only 4 that had twice the CPA that I usually have, or what is the ad show campaigns average, and I can see if they're worth keeping it or maybe reducing the CPA or the CPC, or maybe excluding them altogether. So I see 4 keywords and I can make an easy decision. Of course, if you do remove keywords that have conversions, but they're expensive keywords or their CPA is a lot higher, then of course you lose that conversion as well. So you have to be very careful of not excluding keywords, or at least having in mind that your total conversion number might drop. Now your CPA will be closer to a target, but the number of conversions might be lower than you had before. Now it depends what your goal is. If you want to optimize the CPA, reduce it, then you need to exclude the keywords that have high CPA, like unusual high CPA, or you need to reduce budget, reduce their CPCs or whatever to optimize the campaign. Now let's do the opposite. Let's find possible conversion drivers, and the keywords that may drive conversions. What you need to do is to add a filter of conversions, because we need to see if they convert. So we select conversions more than a 0. Then we need to find keywords with lower CTR to see if the ad does not resonate. So the keyword or the search term converts, but they have low CTR, meaning that the ad does not resonate completely with those search terms. So we have CTR, and you can have lower than your average. This is for almost 5. Let's take 2%. And you can add, optionally, you can add impressions, so that there's the keyword's actually receiving impressions. So it could be above 50, just to make sure that the keyword has enough volume and it has enough impressions for you to actually even think about it. So I have one keyword, dropshipping for beginners, which has a high conversion rate, but it's fine. It has a conversion. It's 2 conversions. It's not a lot, but still. It has clicks, a lot of impressions, really low CTR. This tells me that the ad does not resonate with, the people who enter that specific search term. There's a bunch of things I can do. One of them is just having a separate ad group with separate ads around this term to better align the search term with the ad, and then have maybe even a different landing page depending on the amount of clicks. Sometimes it is worthwhile to create a landing page, especially if it's easy to do. Sometimes it is not. So you can experiment just by creating a new ad group, having the search term maybe as exact or phrase match, or even broad match if you have a lot of conversions, just to see if you can increase CTR, because there's a lot of impressions, and each increase in CTR will give you more clicks. And since the keyword already converts, even at low volume, you may get extra conversions. Now let's find no click keywords, which means keywords that have any clicks. They have impressions, but they have no clicks, and they hurt your average CTR, which of course impacts your ad rank and quality score and so on and so forth. We don't need those keywords. So we have clicks equals 0. If you have a lot of keywords, now this is 23 keywords, this is not a lot to go through. If you have a lot, you can also have impressions as a filter, just to eliminate the keywords with, for example, one impressions, so we don't have to spend time on them. But here it's enough. We can just look at the keywords and try to see if there is some kind of pattern to it. I see it's what is keyword. People probably looking to just understand what is dropshipping and not specifically convert to the product or the service. So we can remove those keywords. It's not a lot of impressions, 53, but even each impression means that we increase our CTR little by little. So this is one campaign, and you can go through ad group to ad group, from campaign to campaign, and I'm sure you'll get from a couple of hundred to maybe a couple of thousand useless impressions that just hurt your CTR, and you'll have better average CTR on all campaigns, and this will boost your ad rank. The next thing is to find high relevant search terms that don't convert. So we'll use CTR as a filter as well, and we can use, so this is the average, let's say for campaigns, almost 6%. Let's see if we have 12%. If we have keywords or search terms that have 12%, yes, they do. And conversions will be below 0.1. So these are keywords resonate highly with the ad, right? So the ad speaks to them, so they click. I mean, it's 3-4 times the average CTR, but they don't convert. Your job is to understand why. There's a lot of keywords, so obviously you can use another filter. So this is 3,500 keywords. Obviously it's hard, but you can use the either cost or clicks filter to focus on, well, 100 is too much. We'll focus on clicks or keywords that have, let's say, more than 20 clicks. So in this case, we have to have a bit less. So we have 6 keywords that we can focus on, although you should look at other keywords as well, because there might be something in the keywords, in the search terms, in the pattern. But here we see that they resonate a lot. I mean, 16% click-through rates, they have 184 clicks and no conversions. On why these keywords why people click on my ads having entered that keywords in the search term, they don't convert. What is it? What I'm missing on a landing page? So this is not only the ad, this is the landing page. So you can exclude those keywords and save some money, because you might think that, okay, they don't convert, and they may never will. Or you can think about what you can do, what landing page, what offer you can create to capture that traffic and convert them. Another filter or a way of looking at keywords is to find keywords with very high CPCs. So the amount of course, will depend on your account, but again, you can start from the averages and look what's the average CPC, and take it from there. So let's go with almost more than twice the CPC. I see one keyword, maybe it's a bit too high. We can do with 3 or 4. Okay, so we see a couple of keywords that have a lot higher CPCs than my average, and I can again double check if those keywords are worth the while. They're costing me a lot, so I might just exclude them because they're just way above my CPC level, and I already have a limited budget. Or I can understand why, what are the keywords, or maybe what I can do about them, add to a different ad group, campaign, or whatever to make them work. The question for you is just that you need to understand if spending that amount per click on that keyword makes sense for you. Look through all the keywords and exclude the ones that, even though seems maybe related to your business, but the CPC are way too high. And this is important for, if you're a manual CPC, but at the same time, it's really important if you're any automated bidding strategy, because that keyword, Google might just keep continuing bidding on that keyword, whether it converts or not. And, if you have a lot of keywords, each that click counts, and at the end of the month, it could be a significant amount of money. And the last part, the filter I like, is basically filtering out the search term itself, looking for specific words that are not related to a business. For example, we saw what is, so I might do just the word what and see how many keywords, how many search terms have that keyword, because usually keywords like what and why and how not necessarily convert. Of course, that depends on count, the budget, and the country and the keywords. But in general, if I'm interested in just to understand, I can just enter a specific search term. Well, not search term, but like the word that could be contained in the search term. So for example, I see that what is dropshipping and what is dropshipping a business and that kind of stuff, it actually costs a lot, and I need to see if it converts. So again, you can enter additional filters like there are conversions, if there aren't conversions, maybe the cost per conversion, whether it's higher than your average one. Let's say other ones more than 200, and you can filter that. No, they're not. So that's good. At least people entering those keywords and those phrases do convert. So this is good, but you'll definitely find account some patterns, some of the words that you can exclude just by looking through the words, the keywords, entering search term, and seeing that there are a lot more even with just one click. Thank you for watching. I hope you learned something, and I hope you're a lot better at analyzing search term reports and optimizing your campaigns. If you liked the video, please hit subscribe. I would really appreciate if you help spread the word.